A journey begins across a wilderness spanning time as much as distance. The one they call Sasquatch is retracing the steps and reliving the sagas of the mountain men he is the natural-born heir to. Beneath his feet lies the same land the free trappers once walked upon. And ahead for Sasquatch lie the same adventures and the same deadly perils. Of all the dangers this wild territory holds, the potentially greatest threat lies in the one that looks the purest and gentlest, but hidden in its soft touch, like a straight razor in a lady's glove, is the fate known as White Death. For Laramie Sasquatch Miller, White Death is just one of the challenges of where he carves out a hard, true life.
I live in the middle of nowhere in the Rocky Mountains. You look around, this is my home. I was born and raised in the mountains. Brought up living off the land, learning all the ways of Mother Nature. My horse is my best friend. I'm a sucker for a challenge. You could drop me off 100 miles from civilization and I'd be tickled pink. I've got the same instincts and the same blood as 100 years ago. Like they say on old Jeremiah Johnson, Rocky Mountains is the marrow of the world.
Sasquatch's DNA is not of a mythical creature, but of the legendary trappers and hunters called mountain men. In the wake of Lewis and Clark's discoveries, enterprising young men with rifles, traps, knives, and a sound horse or two pushed into the unmapped far western wilderness, seeking their fortunes in beaver pelts. Boss lopers is what they called themselves, and at their peak in the 1840s, they numbered over 3,000. But many never returned from their adventures, falling to the war arrows of Indians, the grizzly, or the most silent, most ruthless of all the killers, White Death, winter in the Rockies. Today, Laramie faces many of the very same dangers. Deadly weather is still the worst. He can take comfort, though, in having a fine Hawken rifle, a gun first built in the 1820s by the brothers Hawken of St. Louis, Missouri, and prized for a generation or more by the mountain men who hunted the Shining Mountains. Mountain Man, survival depended on not just what he shot with his Hawken, but on food taken in every way, including the most primitive.
See, if you look in there, there's a little piece of meat attached to the top of the trigger. What's going to happen is that mouse or pack rat or squirrel is going to come around here. He's going to see that and say, oh, there's dinner. He's going to go in there to grab it, and it's going to trip that trigger. The branch is going to swing back, pull this out from underneath, and it's going to squish him. So like this. Voila!
Here is the true and original American melting pot. Mountain men hunkered down beside fires just like this, using their side-pour dippers and molds to cast their own silver-sheened bullets from molten lead.
That's my 54 caliber bullet, capable of taking any game down in the world.
Gives a man a sense of accomplishment and confidence, knowing he can make the bullets he needs whenever he needs them. Even with the ability to make them, bullets were always a scarce commodity to the mountain man. And if he could find a meal without having to use any precious lead, then it was worth the effort.
We got a mud-seasoned red squirrel. It's gonna be red squirrel pancakes tonight. But it's better than no pancakes.
The Sasquatch way is never easy, and for Laramie it's a point of pride that even loading his rifle's a work of skill and art, to be done perfectly, because he'll only have one chance at the shot of a lifetime.
We're in Sasquatch country. We're in the farthest northwest corner of British Columbia. We're after huge Canadian moose, biggest in the world. 4 out of the top 5 in the record book have all come from around here. That's what we're after. Sasquatch should come out here and mingle with the bears and the wolves, try to give me a big moose.
In the giant moose country of British Columbia, a man called Sasquatch walks in the footprints of the mountain men. He uses traditional skills to honor the spirits of the ones who came before him, while blazing his own unique trail. Speaking in the tongues of wild animals is one of the skills the mountain men knew, learned from the Indians with whom they hunted and traded.
There's a bull grunting right over here. There he is, grunting again. There's 2 bulls. I can hear 2 different bulls grunting over here. There must be a cow somewhere in the area. Get up here on this ridge, see if we can't pull that big boy back over here. You know, the old mountain men back in the day, they used to wear lots of furs, lots of buckskin, because rubbing up against this kind of stuff, it helps keep them quiet. It's actually fairly waterproof, and it helps keep your scent down.
For Laramie, as for the mountain men before him, wilderness is the ultimate mystery to solve. Bigger than him, bigger than his life.
When you've been having a lot of weather, we've been having a bunch of rain and wind, the moose will get down into these bottoms like this. It's real thick, shelters them from the wind. They can bed up there, they'll lay there for hours. And so it's a good idea to stop and really listen. You sit down for 30 minutes.
And it's in those times of stillness when you can hear the true rhythms of the wilderness. There's no water repellent here, no high-tech clothing to shed the frigid sleet, and Laramie has to make sure to keep his powder dry, literally. For Sasquatch now and the mountain men before, there is one universal law of the mountains. Cold is death, and fire is life.
You know, the wind's been blowing real bad up here. What that does to the animals is it pushes them down in the thick river bottoms, and thick brush and trees, and makes it tough on Sasquatch. You gotta go maneuver through there and hope you can get a bull to grunt. Last night it cleared off a little bit, so the moose were probably rutting all night. It's cloudy right now, trying to rain. The moose are gonna be going to bed a little early this morning, so hopefully we can get up there and catch them as they're heading down to bed in the thick willows in the bottom.
And down here is evidence that Laramie is not the only one still carrying on the traditions from the days of the boss lopers.
You can see right here somebody's cut out a notch in the tree, and there's no pine marten trap. They'll hook a pine marten trap to that and set some food in there, and that pine marten will climb up in there, and you got you a fur. That's how a lot of people up here make their money, the way the old mountain men used to.
For the mountain man, the way of life could always turn into a way of near death. A threat to a mountain man could come from anywhere. One day on the trail, a free trapper's confronted by a rut-crazed bull moose. Great blades of antlers, driven by nearly a ton of rage, slam the man into a tree, knocking him unconscious. When his blackness lifts, the man finds the bull looming above him, ready to attack again. Pulling his flintlock pistol from his belt, the trapper fires a desperate ball through the moose's glaring eye. This happened only miles from where Laramie's now about to have his own encounter with a giant moose. For Laramie, the trail to his moose leads through the close quarters of thick brush.
Look right here. That's where these moose have been bedding in this thick brush up here to stay out of the wind. We're on the right track.
Oh. Oh.
The shadows of the mountain men stretch from the past to the giant moose of today. What remains the same is the threat of white death, winter in the Rockies, as Laramie Sasquatch Miller prepares to track a bull into its bedding grounds in far northern British Columbia. Game calling's just one of the traditional skills Laramie carries on.
Pretty cool, huh? Real little bull. We don't want him, but it's pretty neat to watch him. Time to go find Big Boy Bullwinkle.
You can gauge the vastness of the wilderness by the way it simply swallows up the largest of animals. The skyline shines with the shimmer of white death. But this country has more than one kind. Some, clothed in silver-tipped fur, are the kinds of death that may find you before you find them, or even know that they're there.
These moose, willows like this, is their main food source. They'll walk through and they'll just eat the tops off all these willows. A big bull moose will stand over 7 foot at his shoulder. So, I mean, these willows are just perfect height for him. So up and over the top of this, there's a big bowl back in the back. So we're gonna sneak up this trail. It's real loud through here with all the willows and brush and everything, so we gotta try to keep, our sound down, because the moose can hear you from a long ways away. You only get one shot with these babies, so you better make it count.
We gotta be within 150 yards. That means getting up close and personal with a 7.5 foot tall animal. We got the wind bad. It's blowing straight down into this canyon. We're gonna circle up and try to get the wind in our favor, so. They're in here. We just gotta find them.
In the heart of country ruled by White Death lives the magnificent Canadian moose. Here, Laramie carries on the traditions of the Mountain Man as he challenges fierce weather, treacherous terrain, and another kind of death that robes itself in silver fur. Skilled at calling game, Laramie's brought the moose to him, but still hunts for a bigger bull.
There's a big knob right up here. We're gonna go up there and sit and see if we can hear them moose grunting down in the valley. Got a bull moose grunting over here. We're gonna try to grunt him in and see what we can do.
Calling game means knowing a wide vocabulary.
Hear that? Just gonna shut up and see if maybe he'll get interested.
And sometimes it's silence that overpowers the animals with curiosity and brings them in. Now it's down to one shot from Sasquatch's hawk and rifle. As the moose disappears in a cloud of powder smoke, Laramie fills his Hawken with a backup load.
I think I'm gonna name him Pumpkinhead. He's got a big old dome on. Look, we shot him from a little orange patch right there, about 50 yards away. About a high 57, 58 inch bull. I'm tickled to death. Well, we let the meat sit overnight. We had to go get the horses to come back and pack it out. They say a dog's a man's best friend. I disagree. I think it's a horse. Saves you a lot of work. Raining like a son of a gun. Ought to be fun. There might be a grizzly sitting on it. Who knows? We'll see.
In this land of White Death, there's an endless struggle for every bite of food. And if the grizzly finds the moose before Laramie can pack it out, then one of them may have to die. The horses know the score and are not excited about leaving the safety of camp.
Keep going.
It's a simple fact. The further north you go, the more things that can eat your horses.
The moose we killed last night, he's just right over this little knoll. We're gonna ease in there and make sure there's no predators bigger than us.
With a single shot in his Hawken, Laramie's aim will have to be true if there's a grizz on the carcass.
pack it up and get the hell out of here.
We got a subtle difference here.
Not bad at all, huh?
And the rope.
For Laramie Sasquatch Miller, the trail of the mountain man is just beginning. It's time to find camp for the night and cook fresh moose steaks.